Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your #1 source for real estate advice online. Thank you so much for having checked out my channel here on YouTube, Julia M. Spencer. Also, if you have a chance, make sure you check out my radio show. I actually have a live radio show that I host right here in town in Savannah, Georgia. It airs at 12 to 1 p.m. on Wednesdays Eastern Standard Time. The website, you can stream it from anywhere in the world, is wruu.org. And of course, check out my channel. My website is juliamspencer.com at the bottom of this video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about strategies. Hope I can say that word right. I always say it wrong. But you know what I mean. And specifically short and long-term strategies. Some of this is addressed in my ebooks as well, and I've also discussed this in some of my previous videos, but I wanted to address it again because it kind of came up recently, and I have to fold in a few other things such as overage investing and flipping. And a lot of people come to me after they watch my videos, because I have a few videos about overage investing, and they ask me, hey Julia, do you have a system that you sell on how to invest in overages, and how do you make money with overages? How do you do that? And can you tutor me or mentor me on how to do that? So here's my 2 cents. I did address overages in some of my videos. It's also addressed in my some of my ebooks, specifically the second ebook, How to Make More Money with Tax Sale Foreclosure Investing. You can check that out on my website there, juliamspencer.com. But as far as overage investing itself, just want to give you a rundown. I'm going to kind of introduce the topic from the back end. As you know, I do a lot with tax sale foreclosure investing. In the states where there is an overage created, not every state has an overage in their tax sale, but in the states where there is an overage created because somebody overbid the amount that is owed, that money is then deposited with the people that are conducting the auction, such as the tax authorities for that county or the city or the municipality. And that money is then an overage that just sits there, and you as a third-party investor theoretically could come in and claim that money for the original owner and basically collect a fee. So how does that play with strategies in real estate investing? Now, what I wanted to let you know, and again, this also has come up, people watch my videos and they kind of ask me questions, and it's like, how do you do that? Which video should I start? Can I watch all your videos from beginning to end to learn what I need to know? Not really, because the way I structured the ebooks is basically so that that is where you need to start, and then you can use the videos on YouTube kind of as an explanation and further to get into further details with anything, because I just didn't have time in the time frame of an ebook to explain everything. So, and also a lot of people have asked me additional questions after I released the ebooks, and I explained those in those videos. So what I was trying to say is overage investing is also just a little piece of the big picture. So if you wanted to get the big picture and how to build a strategy, the best way to think about it is think about right now your situation, what you are trying to accomplish with real estate investing, where you're trying to be 5 years from now, where you're trying to be 10 years from now, and kind of think that through the rest of your life, until the end of your life, until retirement, until eventually at some point, hopefully it'll never come to that way, but you might be unable to do the things that you can do today physically in your youth. And that's how you need to think about real estate investing. Real estate investing is not something that you get into and within a year make immediate progress. It's not something that you can just jump into, make a quick $20,000. It does happen. I know how to do it, but that shouldn't be your goal. So let's talk about that. Let's figure out how to build this strategy. What your very first situation is going to determine where you are right now, what you're trying to do. So let's say you have a steady income right now because you have a full-time job working at a salaried position and your income isn't an issue in order to support your everyday points of life and things that you need, your housing, your food, your utilities, whatever else that you need. So if you're at that point, you're in a very good position to figure out some way to build something a little bit more long-term that sustains itself. And any real estate investor will tell you that buy and hold is the ultimate strategy that you need to build up for. So I'm going to tell you the same thing. There's long-term investing, short-term investing, overage investing, and of course the flipping and home rehab business. So the point is for you to figure out a short-term strategy, a medium strategy, and a long-term strategy, and you need to work pretty much on all three of them sort of kind of at the same time. So of course the long-term strategy is something that is permanent, that will support you with your needs into eternity, indefinitely, even supports your children, I guess. And that would be your buy and hold. So basically you need to, if you have a steady income and a job, you need to think about how do I get a couple of properties that I can then just buy and hold. And even if you're not making a lot of money on those to get to the end there, if you have a mortgage of 15, 20, or 30 years, you know for sure that once that mortgage is paid off, the rent payments that you're getting from those properties are going to be basically money coming in every month. So that's kind of like your retirement plan. So you need to build yourself that portfolio. The very first far out goal is to have that portfolio of 5 to 10 properties at least to sustain your standard of living right now. And the way you can determine what that standard of living needs to be, just figure out how much it is money that you have right now that you need to live off of. So if you have regular expenses of $3,000, $5,000 a month, then you need to have enough properties that generate that amount of rent if there's no mortgage down the line, maybe like 20 or 30 years when you're ready to retire anyways. So if you're in your 30s, you're great, time is on your side. You can get mortgage right now, it'll be paid off by the time you're 60, and there's your retirement plan. And nobody's going to take that away from you. There might be some inflation, however, you know, rents stay in pace with inflation, so you have no issues there, and you don't need to worry about losing that property in a stock crash or anything like that. Real estate is never going to be worth nothing. That's the excellent thing. So have that portfolio in the back of your head. It's kind of like this safety blanket. My portfolio, I'm getting close to the number that I need. I'm pretty close to it anyways, and a lot of them have already many years of mortgage paid, up to 15 years in some instances. So, and I am in my 40s, so I'm on a good track that by the time I'm around 60 or so, or 65, I don't need to worry about Social Security, whether that's even going to be available for me. I don't have to worry about a pension plan. I will have rent income. That's going to be what generates my standard of living. So you need to think about that. That's your first and foremost goal. Retirement is important. I don't necessarily advocate that you should get rid of all your other investments if you have mutual funds, stocks, or any other investments that you're in. But make sure that real estate is one of the items in your portfolio. So buy and hold is a great strategy. For sure, try to put some thought into how you're going to get to that point. Now we're talking about a little bit more short-term here. And short-term could be maybe properties that you're going to buy right now and just kind of use, and then maybe later get rid of for maybe an instant cash inflow, or maybe properties you're holding for an immediate amount of time, 5, 10 years maybe down the road. And here's my background story on this. I was actually working recently with one of my graybeard investors out west in the state of, he lives in California actually, but he does a lot of investing in Nevada and Arizona. And his mindset is that a lot of people in California are pretty soon going to move further east because California's level of living or expenses of living are just so astronomical that a lot of people won't be able to afford to live there anymore, so they're going to start moving eastward a little bit, maybe Arizona, maybe Nevada. So he and his fellow investors, or a group of them, have decided to focus on a couple development projects that are close to the border, to some bigger areas, metropolitan areas of California that are just across the border in Arizona. And basically they're thinking about buying big areas that have already some sort of development, like maybe a golf course and some communities, but that there's a lot of more parcels still available, tax parcels that they are trying to all buy up together, and then for cheap right now, obviously. And then they're going to try to basically build up those lots to generate the increase in value for the rest of them. And so you can imagine if you have a development area that's got maybe 200 or 300 or 400 lots on it, and him and his investors own the majority of them, even if they build up a small percentage of that, the rest of the values are going to go up. And their thinking is that in the next 5, 10, 15 years, there's going to be this exodus, I guess, from California going further east. And they're going to do a lot of marketing, of course, in that area to sell those properties. And they're going to make they're basically generating the increase in market values themselves. Very smart thinking. I'm trying to get into that. I hope you might consider that as well. And because you have to really kind of think about where all these niches are. If you're going to go to a tax sale in Los Angeles, I can guarantee you're not going to get anything for cheap. And that's probably true for most cities in the United States. So this is going to be like kind of your intermediate strategy. You kind of have to have something that pays out every 5 years or so, or even less. And now let's get to the really short-term strategy here that I think you need to focus on as well. If you are savvy with construction and building, and you have skills and resources and connections, and you want to do this flipping home rehab business, all the power to you. I'm not going to keep you from doing it. I believe that it's basically a job, because if you're going to buy houses and you're going to rehab them and you're going to sell them for profit, you're going to make profit, yes, and you're going to have income, but you basically are working a high-paying job. Hopefully it's high-paying, you know, because there's a lot of risk as well. But you work in a job. It might be your job and your business, but it's still a job. You still have to be there 8 to 5. You got to answer phones, and I don't consider that a lot of fun a lot of days. So, but if you're into that, you know, that's a good strategy to get into. Has not really, I mean, it has a little bit to do with real estate investing, but think of this: if you have a home remodeling or flipping, rehabbing business, but you yourself don't own a home that you live in, instead you're renting, that's kind of defeats the purpose, because you're trying to build to the buy and hold area where you have a portfolio of properties, ideally, that pay your standard of living without you having to do anything for it. Hopefully sooner, but for sure later when you can no longer work anymore. So think of that. You know, flipping, rehabbing is a very good short-term strategy, but if you stop doing it, you're not making any more income, and that's the problem. You want to have properties that generate income even if you're not doing anything. So let's come to this last strategy here, overage investing. I can't tell you how many people of you dear subscribers are asking me, do you have a system on how to do overage investing? Can you teach me how to do it? Can you mentor me? Can you tell me where to get the lists, how to do the forms, what to send out? I've heard this so many times, and people are so enthusiastic because they hear about it first. They're like, wow, you know, there's all this money sitting in government accounts that belongs to these owners, and they don't know about it. And all I have to do is find it and give it to them, and everybody's happy. I get a cut, the owner gets a cut, the government doesn't have it anymore, which they shouldn't have it anyways. Everybody's happy, right? So here is my take on overage investing. Overage investing does not apply to all states, because not all states have tax sales where an overage is actually created. Here in the state of Georgia where I live, there is an overage, so we do have a process. State of Nevada has that as well, a couple other states. But for example, the state of Florida doesn't have any overages because their lien sales are a bid down the interest. Also, there's a couple of sales that I attended in Nevada where the price was also set, and it was kind of like a lottery drawing, so there was no negotiation of price or interest rate. It is what it is, and you get it or you don't. So you have to get very, very educated on overage investing before you get into that. But the big thing about overage investing is I don't really consider it a strategy, long, short term or anything. I consider it a money recovery business. So I don't do a lot of it. In fact, at the moment I don't do it at all. I tutor some people how to do it, and I've taught people what to do about it. I did interview an overage investor. He used to be a debt collector actually, and that interview can be found in my second ebook there, How to Make More Money with Tax Sale Foreclosure Investing. It will be at the bottom of this video. You can actually click on it right there and get to it right away. But his issues, he explains very deeply, have really little to do with the real estate investing and more to do with how to contact people, how to find them, what skip trace methods he uses to find people, how to convince them to sign contracts with him, because you can't just get the money for them without a signed contract, how he has difficulties with the authorities to get them to pay the money out to him as a third person, even when there's a contract, and how there's differences in how the law, statutes, state statutes are written in every state, in every county, in every city, that don't really make any of these government officials pay the money out in any certain amount of time. So sometimes he's got money sitting there that he knows is sitting there that belongs to the owners. Everybody knows about it, but he can't get to it because the government officials don't have any law that they have to follow, that they have to pay it out in a certain amount of time. And sometimes the money just sits there, they don't pay it out, and it's forfeit after a certain amount of time. They just get to keep it. So, and the difficulty he faces with finding attorneys that help him find this, that even understand this and help him fight this battles, it's basically same thing as flipping home rehabbing. You know, it's a high-paying job. Instead of talking to contractors, fixing houses, it's more like, I'm talking to owners and government officials all day long on the phone. It's a job. It's still a job, you know. The point of what I'm trying to teach you guys here with my channel and what I do is not to have a job, because I want you to have time to enjoy and do the things that you love, your hobbies, your other interests, maybe your children, your family, for sure. Travel, whatever it is you want to do. You can't do these things if you have a full-time job. That's just not going to happen. And if you have a full-time job that requires more than even 40 hours of your time every week, you're married to your job, and that's going to be your life. Now, if you like that, all the power to you. I prefer to get up at 10, work for 2 hours, then take my son to a flight lesson. You know, that's my idea of fun, and then I'll sit on the couch at 4 or 5 and watch TV a little bit and take a nap. So, and I'm not a lazy person, it's just that's the way how I arrange myself. I still get everything done that I need to do. I love doing YouTube, I love teaching you guys, but I need to be real with you guys, you know? If you're getting into flipping home rehab, do it with the purpose that you want to keep the property as a long-term strategy for holding it. Because later on, you're going to try to get the rent from that property when the property is paid off, or whatever it is that you own and it is paid off. And this is why I advocate very strongly, if you don't have a lot of resources, to get into these 2 ebooks that I have at the bottom of this video, How to Make Money with Tax Sale Foreclosure Investing, because you're getting a lot of things that fit all your strategies. You can, with very little money, buy property. You can, I have an ebook also on construction and remodeling that I've made together with my friend Joe, who has taught me a lot about how to basically flip and rehab. And then you can hold the property for a buy and hold later on strategy that's going to make you rent for the rest of your life. And once you have a portfolio of those, 5, 10, 15, 20, you don't need to work anymore. You can do what it is that you love to do. So I've been talking for a while. I'm sorry for the length of this video, but really think about, I'm really trying to instill into you the thought of thinking short-term, long-term, and forever-term, basically. Don't just focus on, okay, I'm going to get into overage investing right now. What's the system? Julia, tell me, where's the system? Where's the program that you sell that does that? I don't have that. I can teach you how to do it, but you're going to be no better off than you are right now if you have a job. You might make a little bit more. You might not. You might lose a lot. You might be very frustrated. But the goal is not to get into a cash recovery business. The goal is not to get into construction business. The goal is to have property that you keep and hold and that generates cash for you passively while you're doing other things. So I hope this video was helpful. Hope I cleared up some things. And yeah, feel free to leave me comments, share my videos, subscribe, the button, the little bell there at the bottom of this video will notify you if I upload new videos. And also, of course, go to my website, subscribe there as well, because you get a newsletter sent to you 2 or 3 times a week where I tell you some of the stuff that I'm doing and some offers for my ebooks as well. And have a great day investing. Thank you.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.